talk about tonight. Lots going on. Huge news for the automobile world. Huge news for what might be going down in regards to pricing, the end of dealers. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, put the pedal to the metal, we're going to be talking about how Amazon is selling vehicles. Is this the beginning of the end for dealerships? And what does this all mean? What does it mean for us as buyers? What does it mean for sellers? Let's talk also about record high cancellations and filled dealer lots. Yes, that is definitely an issue going on right now. We're going to cover what dealerships look like. What does it mean for pricing? What does it mean for selling? What does it mean for buying? Because when you have a trade-in, you're a seller. Even if you trade it in, you need to focus on selling that trade-in. That's got to be your mindset. So we're going to be talking about tricks to help save you thousands. And just going to get back to the show right here, the notes that I've got for the show. We're also going to be talking about not just what's actually going on with prices. We're going to be talking about how truck and SUV prices, some are still over MSRP. Really, what's going on? You've got YouTube shows kind of presenting it like all of Ford is over MSRP. So we'll get to the real deal, cover the news you need to know so you don't get fooled, because there's a lot of people, YouTubers, news outlets really chasing down dollars. They're chasing the views. Views equal dollars. So when someone gets, a lot of people, just media in general, a lot of YouTubers, they get onto something that works and they won't let go, even if it's not true anymore. But there is a grain of truth. So we're here to find that grain of truth and really settle what's going on with prices, because really over MSRP, that is so last year. It's completely out of style. Not to sound like a high school girl saying something is so out of style, but it is. So are the videos that are, trying to make it look like if you buy a Ford, a Dodge, a Chevrolet, GMC in general, BMW, Audi, they want to make it look like it's all over MSRP. It's wild. There's some over MSRP going on. But the problem with this is you watch these videos and then you say, hey, I guess I should just, everyone's over MSRP. I guess I should just take the first price I get offered. And that's not the case. Some people will try to sell over MSRP, but no one's really going to be paying over MSRP these days, except for on a few models. But then we get to the next episode. Great news. Corvette prices are finally collapsing, and by a lot. Cover also an episode. Porsche prices are also collapsing. Major price drop. We've got to answer for auto news. Is Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep in major trouble? Does Stellantis still want to cut half? Does Stellantis really want to cut half its workers? What's going on? Marie's going to be presenting that, and I'll be giving some insight into that subject. We've got trust in Toyota. It's very high, and it's lowest at Ford. I'm not making that up, but that is dealers' trust towards the brand. So let's talk more about that in just a moment. So stay tuned for the live. If we've got time, we'll do some Bronco versus Jeep comparison continuation, talking about what we have been talking about and what we want to get talking about in shorter edited videos. In this longer live, we'll be talking about Jeep versus Bronco, what's really going on behind that, what's the real deal. And it's great, we've got people in the chat that I've seen, I believe the WB, if I recall correctly, has had Jeep, he's had Bronco. I believe it was the WB, but several of our community members have had Jeeps and now have Broncos. And we'll be talking about what they think about the Bronco. Do they feel they made a mistake? Should they have kept their Jeep? We'll talk about that, because we've gotten a lot of feedback through these live chats that we love reading and going through. And please, as we do this live, put in a lot of your comments, because we've got insider information to share, the news to share, but some of the most important information, the best information, comes from the live comments section. Thank you so much, YouTube Car Spotters Guide, for being here. Thank you, the WB, for being here. We got
RQbo.
Arcubo, Buddy Guy, thank you, Buddy Guy, for making it. Arcubo, thank you also for making it back in pretty much all our lives. So really appreciate the community here. We can't name you all, but thank you so much. And some aren't making it probably because of football. Hard to compete with that football. We'll also be talking about what newish car did we just take possession of and why. So a little channel update. We also want to talk about the best SUV, brand new SUV, the best brand new SUV, and even car, I'd say, that you can put your hands on now, today. We'll have a longer, full edited episode on that as well later on as a complete standalone. But let's cover all that and more in today's live. So thank you so much, everyone, for making it. So let's get started with the first subject, the big one. Is this the end of dealers? Amazon is going to be selling to, yes, customers. Amazon is going to be selling to customers. Let us know in the comments section. Drop a comment. What do you think about that? Would you buy a vehicle from Amazon? Do you think the experience will be positive, negative, relatively neutral? We'll talk about what this means for buyers, what it means for sellers. We're going to go through the whole slew of what this means. We'll put the real pedal to the metal on this, and don't get fooled. We'll make sure as insiders, we let you know what's actually going to be going down with this. The real deal, the real story. But first, please hit like, that little thumbs up button, subscribe, turn the bell notification on, and please share this video and drop a comment. We want to hear your opinion. What do you think about buying directly from Amazon? And let's start with, drop it in the live chat. If you're watching this as not a live, drop it in the comment section, please. But let's start with you, Marie. What do you think? You buy a lot on Amazon, like almost the huge majority. Everything but groceries. You haven't bought cars, but you buy all the groceries. The groceries, you buy all at Costco, and we love it. But all the other purchases, pretty much, are all Amazon, right?
Yeah, a few stuff for the home.
What do you think about a vehicle, though?
I'm not sure. For sure, we need to have more information how it will work, how the paperwork will be. Will it be easier to have somebody to respond to your question before buying a car there, or you already need to know everything by yourself on the internet?
Kind of like Tesla. That's a great point. At Tesla.
And after that, if you have a problem, who do you call? You have a service line. Is it really what you will want that you will have?
People complain people complain directly to me saying they wanted to buy a Tesla. It's their preferred model. But when they went to actually go buy it, they couldn't buy it. They just showed up at a center. They were given the keys, weren't given any information. We're basically just told, go watch some videos. So they couldn't get
able to test drive.
Well, they could test drive, but that's it. It was, you can get a test drive, but you're not getting anything else. And they really very much disliked the experience and bought a Mustang Mach-E. So that's an extra sale for Ford. And this is actually, I say, an extra one. This, in the last 12 months, this has happened about 6 or 7 times. Just to me personally, some people don't want to do hours of research themselves. I know I found buying a TV recently online unbelievably frustrating.
It took you a long time. So for a car, what it will be?
The time I invested in it, I consider my time worth more. I spent about 25 hours invested into finding the right TV, learning what the stats and what the characteristics are these days, what's important, what's less important. And I must have spent about 30 hours doing that. And my time was worth at least as much as the TV. I would have gladly paid an extra $100 or $200 for the TV had I been able to actually speak to someone who was qualified about the TV. Someone who has some motivation behind actually staying really well informed and being able to present really well. So someone who's on at least partial commission, because a lot of stores, if I can tell you, you shop a TV in stores where the person who's there to answer your questions isn't on commission, and they make no effort to generally know the product, except Costco pays their employees more than most stores. And I actually got fantastic service at Costco.
Yeah,
and in the end,
quality employee.
Quality employee. And because of that, I bought the TV at Costco. Otherwise, I was this far away from buying it online. After doing all my research, I was still a little mixed up. When I got to the Costco, the young man talked to me for what, maybe 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, great, perfect. And it was resolved because of that. And I wish I would have had that service at the beginning. I just didn't think someone who's not on commission would give me would be there to really be helpful. But it turns out they were, because, well, they're a well-paid employee.
And on Amazon, I guess the only positive thing that could happen is for those who are afraid to have a bad dealer in their
That's
city.
a great point.
And having it selling way over MSRP, maybe on Amazon it will have the right price, and that's all. So that could be the only positive things I see there.
So smart. So smart you are, and I really appreciate that feedback, because a lot of what's been going on the last few years is that people have been really frustrated with dealers, because some dealers have been selling over MSRP, forcing customers to have expensive add-ons with a lot of markup on those add-ons, a lot of built-in profit. And this is what's actually going down. Don't be fooled. This is what's actually going down with Hyundai being the first to sell on Amazon. They're not stupid. This isn't their first time around the block, and I want to hear your comments, how you feel about buying a vehicle on Amazon. But they're getting the dealers involved. But we're going to be more protected. And it's good and bad. It's good and bad. And let me get to the little slide about this, because what's really going down is, yes, you'll be able to buy the full vehicle on Amazon, meaning, just like you said, it could be good for getting a fixed price. And that's good and bad. When dealers are forcing insurances or forcing extended warranties, which can be great anyways, or just, like Toyota's been doing lately. A lot of Toyota dealers have been forcing you to take, really expensive etching, really expensive anti-theft system. So you end up spending $3,000 to $7,000 more than MSRP for the vehicle. Well, Amazon would cut that nonsense out. However, some people are going to be really frustrated, because we're going to be, as you'll see it and watch through this show, so watch to the end, we're going to be showing you where prices are really actually going, and they're going down. So here's the bad part. Let me blow this up, because I think it's worth blowing up, and this subject's worth blowing up and talking about properly, because people are excited. You can buy a Hyundai on Amazon now. That's great. If Hyundai is trying to mark up their vehicles, if they're not giving you, because I'll tell you, Amazon's going to be great at always getting you the manufacturer rebate. As an insider, I know they're going to do that. They're going to get you your manufacturer rebate. And they're also going to sell the vehicle at really MSRP minus the rebate, manufacturer rebate, if there is one. They're obviously going to take a cut, but they're still going to let the dealer do the rest of the work. So when it comes to, either delivering the vehicle to your house or going to the dealer to sign all the paperwork, someone from a dealership will come to your house, have all the paperwork signed, or you'll go to the dealership and you'll sign the paperwork there, and you'll actually get the vehicle explained to you. So Amazon's going to take a bit of a cut, because they're going to be saving the dealer the time of sort of doing the whole needs assessment. What do you need? Let's test drive this one. Let's test drive that one. So yeah, you're going to lose out on the test drive unless you'll have done it. You could shop at the dealership, do your test drive. Just say, I'm just here for a test drive. Want to test two or three. Test two or three, see the interiors, different equipment levels. This would sort of be a hybrid system. You can then go on, if they're fair with pricing, I'd say buy it right away at the dealership, because you can buy on Amazon, but Amazon's not going to be negotiable. So when the market is, when lots are filled, which you'll discover by watching through the entire live, or if you're not watching live, watching other episodes, you will learn from us how to save thousands, because you should be saving thousands, because you should be buying under MSRP right now on almost everything, because dealer lots at most manufacturers are near full or overfilled. overflowing, and some dealers have some of the highest inventory number of vehicles that they have ever had, so that they're flexible, meaning if they're smart, so last season to sell over MSRP and not have rebates. So if they're smart, they're going to give you those manufacturer rebates. And if the brand is smart, they'll have manufacturer rebates. Right now, Dodge has 186 days of inventory, meaning it takes on average 186 days to sell a vehicle at Dodge. That means their lots are as filled or more filled than they ever have been, but the brand isn't pushing out enough rebates. Trust me, those dealers, if they're smart, they should get tired of paying 8% interest and should offer you a little something special that you cannot get on Amazon. So the point I'm trying to make here is I want to save you thousands. And a smart dealership is going to be motivated to sell to you. So that means if there's dealer manufacturer rebates, they'll give them to you. And they might even give you a present or two more. So there will be some points of frustration with the Amazon experience. And that's just going to be it can't be negotiated part. But this is great. This is a good safety net, because this is going to make it so that smart dealers won't try to sell over MSRP. Smart dealers will not, sometimes I've seen in the past, people get offered these amazing deals. And online, I build the vehicle and they've got $6,000 rebate going on. But the other dealer gave them an amazing deal. They got free winter tires. They got, a few accessories free. They got 3 or 4 presents for that vehicle. But those 3 or 4 presents, like winter tires, floor mats, this, and that, end up being worth about $2,000 to sometimes $3,000. But if there's a $4,000, $5,000, or $6,000 manufacturer rebate, guess who's keeping the difference? The dealer. So vehicles being able to be sold on Amazon, it's really going to help stop that, smart dealers won't try this nonsense that has been bugging us and bothering us and a real pain in the derriere for years now. So this is good. This is great. I just say if you do test drive the vehicle first or different vehicles at the dealership, give them a chance. Let them make you an offer. Make them an offer. And if they don't take your offer because they say, oh, no, that's impossible, well, then go shop it on Amazon. And maybe that impossible offer, maybe they're right. Maybe you're thousands more on Amazon, or maybe the dealership was trying to play crooked, and maybe you're like, wow, the Amazon price is less at the dealership. So Amazon's giving me that $6,000 manufacturer rebate, but they said yes to 2-3 presents worth maybe $3,000, but then no more rebates after that, then buy it at Amazon. Or maybe you'll go back to the dealership and say, hey, they were giving me the $6,000 rebate and a present or two. That's better than Amazon. Then go back to the dealership. Anyways, it's online. It's not as if you wasted someone's time. So take a little bit more time, save thousands of dollars. So we can go to the news article here to prove to you here. It's right from Amazon. So we're not making this up here. Hyundai is going to be selling through Amazon. Right there, you can read this article right off the Amazon website. It's called a Broad Strategic Partnership. I think this is innovative because it doesn't get rid of the dealerships, because the dealership is still going to be delivering the vehicle to your home and having you sign the paperwork there, or have you come into the dealership so that they're maybe better equipped at showing you things, explaining things to you. So it's not like the Tesla experience where you do not have a human to really help you understand the product, explain all those buttons, explain the technology. This is an amazing hybrid system. And by the way, I just got back from a Lincoln event, and from many things that Ford has said in the past, I believe this is the type of hybrid system that Ford wants to get around to offering customers, that you can buy it online, but then you'll go through the dealership for the delivery, the explanation of the vehicle, all the technology, because it's important for dealers to still exist, because we need a place where we can get good answers by qualified people who can also then service, maintain, and fix the vehicles we buy. If there's no dealers, I've brought vehicles to garages before, and after having it for 3 weeks, being told, well, it's electrical, I could waste 10, 12 hours taking diagnostics, could cost you $1,000. So just bring it to the dealership. They might, even before plugging anything in, have a really good idea what it is. And that's exactly what happened. The Ford dealer didn't even do a diagnostic. They're just like, it's probably this part. Are you okay if we change it? We can check. Just change the part and see if that works before doing, at least 4 hours of diagnostics. And I was like, yeah, hit it up. And that's what it was. So how does that mean? Are you worried? How do you feel about all this?
Still not sure I will be buying it on Amazon for now. Because, I'm afraid you don't have the all the information you need to do the right choice, or you can mixed up your order and didn't order the package that you want, the color that you want.
Had it not been for the Costco employee, I would have bought a TV that wasn't ideal for my setup. I might start
somebody to help you.
Yeah, I needed to get a TV that's good for simulation racing off the PS5, which I might start a channel on. If so, I'll let everyone know. But I do really like simulation racing because I can make mistakes and crash vehicles there instead of crashing them in real life, and get better skills and knowledge through the simulator. This is going to be available in 2024. This Amazon buying.
And at the same time, I wonder if the dealers will love it. Because if they have to do the delivery, we don't know how it will work, but if they have to do the delivery, will they be mad? Maybe, I don't know, because they didn't have the sale.
Well,
not sure.
I think, I highly doubt that Amazon's going to take, what you could say as, the full sales if it cut. That'd be very weird to then just tell the dealer, deliver it, you get nothing. Because then, yes, the experience, probably the service will be really, really bad. It'll be horribly bad if dealers get stuck delivering vehicles for Amazon, spending, an hour doing paperwork, spending sometimes 1, 2, or even 3 hours explaining the vehicle for a big zero. So I think I'm pretty sure as an insider, I can say that Amazon's going to want a small cut for sort of doing the initial paperwork. But then the dealer who's doing all the major paperwork, all the explanations, washing and preparing the vehicle, making sure that the buyer has what they want on the vehicle, whether it's winter tires or floor mats or whatever it may be, an extended warranty, a maintenance plan. I think the dealership is still going to have a good portion of the reward for doing the work, so that they're going to be motivated to do the work. Because the last thing, I don't want to name any stores, but some stores, whether, TVs, everyone used to be on commission, and generally you're always, there's someone who knew what they're doing and talking about. Just like cell phones are still sold by people who are on commission, so they know the differences. They can really help speed you through the process. But if you were to, anywhere you go, if people aren't being rewarded for their work, the quality is really going to drop. So this hybrid system, I think, is going to actually work. That's what I put my money on. And it's going to be online and going down in 2024. So very, very soon. So mark your calendars, folks. Let us know if you go through this experience or if you shop through it. I think we'll have to try to shop a little through it and see how it goes.
Yeah, just check how it works. It will be funny.
Now, before we head on to the next episode, please don't forget, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, and do share this information with people who could benefit from this type of information, people who are in the car market. Or people who think it's like the worst time ever to buy a vehicle. Well, if you share our content with them, they'll know the real deal. Alrighty. Record high cancellations are going down according to YouTube. So we've got record high cancellations. And let's get some photos of this. Record high cancellations and filled dealer lots. Is this really what's going on? Well, we're going to talk about what's really going on with dealer lots, and there's a direct correlation with auto prices. So I'm going to just get down to the photos. I can tell you dealer lots are full more and more, so dealers will actually start getting even more rare models like the Bronco. So hang on a little while. If you still are in an area with Broncos being over MSRP, we're not that far off from Broncos being at MSRP. And I've got Broncos. I've got, well, one sold, so I think we had 5. We're now down to 4. I'm definitely selling Broncos at MSRP. Even rarer ones. I just sold I had reserved it for someone way in advance, but a Heritage Bronco. I sold that at MSRP, and glad to do so. We think of the future, and even if a model's rare, we'd like to sell the vehicle and see the person back for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles, not just sell them once high and never see them again.
True. That's the best way to stay on the market.
This is one of the best Bronco models right here, the Badlands. By the way, for the 2024 changes, all Broncos come with marine grade vinyl or leather. You get the leather in the higher trim model, so the Wild Track, of course. You get it on the Bronco Raptor. And if I recall correctly, you get it on the Outer Banks. And the Outer Banks, no longer cloth available. You're going to get an Outer Banks. And this you can get in leather, but it comes standard with marine grade vinyl. But your Outer Banks is your luxury model, and it finally clearly is now that it starts off with leather, no 2-door being available. The Black Diamond's interesting also, with its metal rear bumper. But I like the Badlands because you get not just the rear locker, you get a front locker, you get that Sasquatch suspension without paying Sasquatch price. And you get stabilizer bar disconnect, which is so cool if you're off-roading.
Yeah,
now,
I love this feature.
Yes, we got to use it at the Bronco Off-Rodeo, New Hampshire. We highly recommend that everyone does Bronco Off-Rodeo. It helps a lot. So check it out. We had a lot of fun using the stabilizer bar disconnect. I'm so tempted to just get rid of the Lightning and actually get a second Bronco.
This one.
You like that color?
It's available. Yeah, you show me that picture this week.
So, yeah, I sent it to you. I was trying to tempt you. So
it worked.
It worked good. I'm glad.
The only thing I will miss is the electric F-150. Because it's electric, it's nice to doesn't have to pay gas.
That is nice.
But yeah, it's good looking. That Bronco, I really love.
Drove for 2.5 hours today. Almost 3 hours of driving today. Used up not quite 3/4 of my charge on my battery. And I didn't have, I didn't have a $60 or $80 bill from driving around today. I had, whatever the charge costs, $8. $8 in our region. So dealer lots are full. Here's an example. Almost every day, every second day, we're getting, I'll zoom in here.
That's a lot.
It's normal that there's vehicles up here. It's normal that there's vehicles, way over, this row here. The double row of vehicles doubling in, this triple dipping is not normal. Dealer lots are full. Currently, as a dealer, we've got $23 million of new vehicles. We're paying interest on those vehicles, depending on the dealer, 7% or higher. We want to move metal. We now rent 2 extra lots. We always used to basically rent 1 extra lot, but vehicles cost more than they ever have. So we're paying as a dealership more, and dealers across the continent are paying, and worldwide are paying more interest than they ever have on vehicles that cost more than they ever have. We're paying the interest on the cost of the vehicle that we pay, but it's not as if there's, a $6,000, $5,500 rebate on F-150s, we don't get that rebate. We pay interest on a higher amount. So we want to move these vehicles. Some brands have a ton of days in inventory, but let's see other examples. You can really see, we've got the front line here. That's normal to have vehicles there. The back, secondary row, and then there's another row. That's normal too. But when a truck drops these trucks off, we don't even know where to put them anymore. So we're renting 2 lots, and
they are in the middle where normally it's clear so people can drive there.
But Ford's been smart. We need to sell them, but Ford's being smart. They're actually, they had 7.99% on Escape plugins last month. And, we reported it in our last live. Marie, you did a reporting, and what was it, that sales at Ford were down, 5%?
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
This
5%.
year for the month only. I think it was for the month. It was from September to October. There was a 5% drop, and Ford does want to stay number one in sales.
Yeah, it increased this year. Yeah,
So
so
that-
it was only for the
Just for the month,
of
but
October.
Ford's smart and they react quickly. They rate off. They dropped the interest rate from 7.99 down to 2.99, meaning it's not that they're making less money on the interest. At 2.99%, that between the normal rate and 2.99, they're paying the difference. So essentially it's the same as a rebate. They're paying to have a better interest because they want these vehicles selling. You got $5,500 off F-150s. They want to help us move metal because they know as dealers we're not happy paying interest on $23 million just in new vehicles. It's the most we've ever had, and all dealers are in this situation. Speaking of stabilizer bar disconnect, love getting the Bronco up on its side. Please check out our Bronco off-rodeo video. We'll talk more about that towards the end of the live. Now, here's a Nissan dealership. This Nissan dealership never had this space. You see they've put semi-permanent cement blocks in. That's probably because they might not even be, they either bought or are renting this space. I've never seen this in 20 years. I've never seen vehicles here, and now they need to put those vehicles there. Nissan's in trouble. Wow. Ford's in trouble. GM, Dodge, almost everyone on the market except for companies that are sending less vehicles to North America, Toyota and Honda. Toyota production is way up, but they're just not sending very many vehicles to North America because they make more money elsewhere. Well, they haven't publicly said that's the reason they're sending less vehicles to North America, but it's awfully suspicious that their profit margins are less in Canada and US, and then even though production is at record highs, they're sending less vehicles here. So what happens? Dealers continue to abuse when it comes to prices. Not all dealers, some dealers. So this is what's actually going on, folks. Talk about the Maverick if we've got time, but what's really going on is that prices have gone down. Prices must go down, and prices, I don't think, when you've got $5,500 off an F-150, I don't think they're going to double down again. So I'd say now is an excellent time to buy an F-150, but prices are going down on the new and used market. So we'll talk about the used market with some prime examples in a moment. But checked out the new Nautilus. We'll get to that in the live as well. But prices are really, they are coming down, and I had a graph here, but they have to come down. You've got Dodge at 186 days of inventory. So let's go check that out right here, show you the proof, because I'm all about the data. So you've got 186 days. We'll follow the line here. See that? You got Dodge down there. You got Chrysler. You got Ram. These are the brands with the highest number of days in inventory. That means vehicles sitting around that dealers have to pay interest on, that dealers want to get out of their yard unless they're out of their mind. And yes, some dealers are out of their mind and they still want over MSRP, but you just got to go to another dealer, pick up the phone, look around. Don't deal with a dealer that still wants to sell over MSRP, because you got Dodge at 186 days of inventory.
That's a lot.
That means their dealers are peed off, majorly peed off, because they're telling the manufacturer, give us rebates, either give us better interest rate or give us thousands in rebates or give us both, because we need help selling the vehicles. We can't maintain paying 8% on millions and millions of dollars of inventory. So if your favorite brand hasn't dropped the prices yet, just wait, it's happening. I can tell you at Ford has already made a huge effort. There's huge price decreases in the form of either much lower interest rates than your current standard interest rates and or cash rebates. There's even a huge rebate on an Edge. There's rebates, bigger rebates now on certain vehicles than I'm used to see, that I haven't seen in like the last 10 years. And the 2023 or 2024 Edge is a perfect example of that. Now you've got an incredible interest on an Escape going from 7.99 down to 2.99. That's Ford going, hey dealers, we're going to help you out. And when brands help their dealers out, we all win as buyers. But don't forget, treat your trade like you're selling it. So do make sure you get a reasonable price for your trade. Now you've got Chrysler at 135 days of inventory. How many days of inventory is that for the Ram?
129.
And Jeep's at how many days?
123.
And you've got
Not
Lincoln.
that
Lincoln.
120.
And let's talk about Infinity.
Oh, it's almost the same. 180.
118, great.
18, sorry.
Buick at 107, Genesis at 105, Audi 98 days of inventory, Mazda 98 days of inventory. So these are all areas where you should get great pricing, either in the form of low interest or in thousands in rebates. And on that positive news, I'll say prost to everyone. Cheers. Hope you're having a nice, enjoying the show, having a nice little beverage. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, share the video with people that need to know this type of information, or who just, are in another world and think that, prices are still way over MSRP on everything. But in the comment section, let us know if you've shopped recently, either online or in person. Let us know which one, online or in person, and what did prices look like. I know some Broncos are still selling over MSRP in certain areas, but just wait them out. My area, you can get a Bronco at MSRP. So where you're not going to get, or less likely to get, a good price, 33 days of inventory at Toyota, as a customer, you're probably going to get screwed. Honda, 38 days of inventory, also probably going to get screwed. Kia, 43 days, probably not going to get a very good deal. Subaru, 47 days of inventory. I do not expect a great deal over there. So this end of the chart, not so great deal. This end of the chart, the manufacturer, the brand, and the dealer have no choice but to help do whatever it takes to get you into a new vehicle. Not lose money, but definitely not make a pile of it that they can then sleep on at night. So there's your news to save you thousands of dollars. And let me tell you, record high cancellations, YouTube video saying there's record high cancellations. Yes, but that's simple. Don't be fooled. The reason there's record high cancellations is because there's record high orders. Before, there is almost no orders, and the people that ordered them were like that rare person who really, really wants particular equipment and color, and they're so excited to get the vehicle. They're passionate about getting and emotional about getting the vehicle exactly how they want it, that of course they took possession. In the past, I'd make like 3-4 orders out of 150 to 200 sales per year. And of course they always took them all. And now, yeah, record high cancellations. Yes, losing about 28 to 34% of people who've ordered don't end up taking possession for a multitude of reasons. They don't pass financing. They put thousands of repairs into their old beater that they have then decided to keep, or they just bought something else in the meantime because something else caught their eye.
Yeah, they have time. They wait. So.
Another brand drove by and the husband or the wife went, "Ooh, that looks good." And they said, "Hey,
it's
honey,
available now.
let's go check it out. Let's go check out that Santa Cruz. We just love how when people drive in our blind spot, they cut the radio out and cut the radio out and start beeping. And that makes me start beeping.
That's annoying you a lot.
Ooh, Hyundai, Kia, I'm telling you. You want to pay someone for their opinion? I'll give you my opinion, and I'll get your driver semi-autonomous driving safety tech under control, because right now it is very very annoying, very much so.
So the rant is done.
So the rant's done. Easy like that.
Speaking about companies, the WB asked if you have heard that GM is not scheduling any new order on all brands until end of January. You're here.
So this is coming from the WB.
Yeah.
And GM's not scheduling any new orders until the end of January. Well, I can tell you that a lot of brands are 2 or 3 months out. So being that we're mid-November, they wouldn't be scheduling. If they're giving out dates, it's not going to be until the end of January. Now, GM, maybe they're just not giving out any dates whatsoever, not And, Ford right now is giving out dates. Oh, there we go. That's a dog.
That's a dog. They shake the camera.
Also a reason to subscribe. You help feed and dress those poodles. So GM, if they're not scheduling anyone till the end of January, it might only be for certain models like the Corvette. And it might also be related to the fact that, they want to see what's going down with the UAW strike. But now that the UAW strike, as soon as it's very much 100% officially resolved, the agreement is 100% signed, and that there's a majority vote yes, then they probably will get back to scheduling. But of course, not scheduling for December, because that's probably quite possibly for most models should be already filled. So yes, if you get scheduled next week, it's going to be for, at most manufacturers, end of January.
Good.
So please, before we move on to the next episode, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. It helps feed and dress those poodles and feed and dress the coming baby, because we're due in 3 weeks?
Yeah, if we don't have it before.
Yeah, because you've been getting signs that you might very well have our baby girl.
Could be sooner. Be prepared.
So far, we're thinking maybe Kylie or Layla or Lila as a name. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, let's move right on to the next episode. So let's just get the photo going. We're going to be talking about, in the next episode, we're going to be talking about who's still over MSRP. So that's going to be a quick one because we pretty much already covered it in this live. So let's get ready. We'll start the episode for episode 3 right now. Our truck and SUV and car prices, of course, still over MSRP. Who still has markups? Because that's so last year. So I'll tell you who still has markups. People who are out of their mind. Because smart dealers aren't going to try any nonsense, knowing that we're on the verge of being able to buy online, and that's going to control them anyways. So get your reputation set and solid now. If you're smart dealers, this is giving you free advice to help you stay alive and stay afloat. But I'll tell you who can't deal with over MSRP unless they're out of their minds. 186 days of days of inventory at Dodge, 186 days. It means it takes 186 days on average to sell a vehicle that from the time it comes in to the time it leaves, takes 168 days at Dodge. Chrysler, 135. And you can see the brands down here versus the days in inventory. The whole time dealers are paying interest on these vehicles. So Dodge should be unbelievably motivated to move metal. Mind you, they're not getting a whole lot of aid right now from the brand. So just wait, because dealers will kick and scream and cry until Dodge fixes this problem. Okay, right now at Ford, my dealer, I've got $23 million of inventory we pay interest. Our dealership pays interest on our business every month. Now, at the end of the year, I want my dividend to be good. And I don't want vehicles sitting around. So I'm motivated, and I'm motivated to motivate others to make metal move. And Ford is helping. Smart brands are doing like Ford's doing. We're just a month ago, 7.99% interest on an Escape down to 2.99% interest. You will save thousands if you're financing. $5,500 off on the F-150, something like $5,000-ish off a Ford Edge. There are deals to be had. And if your dealership doesn't seem like there's any deals to be had, look online, take your phone out, even right in front of them. Tell them you need to make a phone call. Go look online. Make sure you get those manufacturer rebates. Offer them, tell them, look, online, there's this rebate. But smart brands have rebates. I can tell you, inventory is getting, for some, higher than it ever has been. Now, our dealership said yes and actually made an active effort to get more vehicles because we want selection for our customers. We want them to be able to pick the motor with the color and the equipment of choice and have it available right frickin' meow. And as such, we want everyone to be a happy kitty here. So as such, it's part of the reason why we have such inventory, because the real story at Ford Now let's see, where's Ford? Help me out here on this list.
It's just there.
Ford has 95 days of
Around
inventory. That's about half as much days of inventory as Dodge. So we're paying about half as much interest as a dealer, and still Ford knew it was time to drop those prices. And remember, prices can be dropped either from a rebate, which is pretty obvious to save you thousands. If there's a $5,000 rebate, you know you're saving $5,000. But do keep in mind that interest rates, when they're lower, right now, let's say your average interest rate, well, your average interest rate across all brands and models is almost 10%. It's like 9.95%. And what dealers are really paying on that, and manufacturers and everyone, money that they borrow, they're borrowing on about 5.5 to 8%, whether they're a dealer or a manufacturer. So, smart manufacturers want to pay less interest and they want that metal to move. So if they're offering you 2% or 3% interest, but they're paying 5.5, they're paying for the difference. So that's a form of a rebate. Do keep that in mind. So that's what's going on with prices. Prices are absolutely dropping. Only insane dealers have markups. Only insane brands are putting their dealers in a situation where they can easily have markups. And that's why over at Toyota and Honda, when they have record high production, so at the very end of the list, that's bad. Thank you for the help, Maddie. Our Vanna White right here. So Marie showing it to us. This end of the chart, you're less likely to get a good rebate. Really less likely. And it's crazy because Toyota has record high production. Honda's having some of their best in regards to volume units. They're producing some of the almost more vehicles than they ever have. Toyota, if I'm not mistaken, they are having their best volume production number of units built ever. But they're not, for whatever reason, a little suspicious if you ask me, they're not sending enough to the North American market. And oddly, they make less money in the Canada and US, in the North American and Mexico, in the North American market. So it smells a little fishy. Not in this room, but I mean in the auto market when you're at near record high or record high production. But then some regions, some countries have very few vehicles when they used to have a lot. Well, that's the type of situation. Scarcity makes people scared. Buy even if the price is bad. And that's what's going down more so at this end of the chart. You're much more likely to get screwed. That's the real deal right there, because only vehicles that are really over MSRP, here's the truth, the only vehicles that are over MSRP are vehicles that are really rare. So Toyota, almost all the vehicles are really rare. So that's a major problem right there. And I might check one out, but I definitely would not buy if they're trying to, gouge me, price gouge. If they're trying to rip me off, screw me, that type of thing. I don't want any of that happening. I'm a married man. I don't do that outside of my home. So let's go and check this out. What vehicles? I don't have it here, but a Dodge Hellcat. The Dodge Challenger Hellcat, one for sale online. There's a dealer asking over $100. They've got $100,000 of markup. The vehicle's supposed to be about 135, and they're in the 300,000 range. And I can't believe I didn't connect that. But even rare used vehicles like this Ferrari Maranello, Ferrari Maranello, best attempt I can at saying this properly. Gorgeous vehicles, one of my childhood dream vehicles. I've heard one of these in real life in my hometown go by, and I think that's what had me convert from being a boy to a man. I think I had a moment right there where I was like, I think what just my anatomy has just shown to me that I am now a man when this thing went by. The sound was incredible. But look here, they've dropped the price by $50,000. And Hellcats in my area, they're asking MSRP, and they're not selling. Just the same. They've been on sale for months. I've been looking at them for months. You've got these Dodge Challenger Hellcats at MSRP, not moving. So dealers that are asking even on a rare vehicle like the Hellcat, trying to get an extra $100,000 over MSRP on the customer, they're just crazy. That's just crazy. They love paying interest and they figure, no, we've already paid so much interest on this vehicle. We got to make it back. At some point, realize
Just let go.
just let go. Yeah, the game's over. They're not the dealers that do this type of thing. They're not my friends. I won't call them my friends, but it's done. Move on. We're not there anymore. That's so last year. Can you say it? Because you're a high school or a college cheerleader. You're a cheerleader. Yeah, both.
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
not that long. It doesn't count.
just the same. Please entertain me and say,
say it.
That's so last year or last season.
Normally, the expression is so 2023, and we're almost at 24.
Yeah, it's so 2022.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the help there.
Could be 22 too.
I felt like I was pulling teeth to get that out of you.
Beginning of 23 too.
Now, for people who critique and think that Marie should give the international sign, you need to teach Marie the international sign for having been kidnapped because she sits here and doesn't talk much. I get that comment pretty often, or something very similar to it. It's that Marie has an accent and she's shy about it. But as time goes on, Marie's talking more and more.
Yeah, I try.
You try. And your
Depends on if I'm too tired on the evening. Sometimes I search the word a lot.
You sometimes tell me in advance, I can't talk tonight. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
If it will be in French, I will talk a lot.
And
you
I
will
don't
be tired to hear me.
and I don't force you because I have not kidnapped you.
No.
So there we go. You can confirm to everyone that you're not kidnapped.
I'm fine.
You're here. You're not here against your will.
No.
You're here willingly.
I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
here because I want.
Thank you. Thank you so much for clarifying that for our viewers that just can't get a grip on how a beautiful woman can be sitting quietly beside me. Now, even on the used market, folks, here's another example. Used market. You got this beautiful Porsche Macan that I'm almost tempted to sell the Lightning and buy this. So Marie drives around in this and I take back the Bronco because I want the Bronco back. That machine is incredible, folks. $39,900 and it was $44,900. So used market
Canadian.
Prices have gone down tremendously. Canadian. Used market, huge price drop. New market prices have gone down. And let's check out a last little bit of evidence for this. Here we go. You've got your average listing price for new vehicles at $47,215 US dollars. Total inventory, 2.4 million vehicles in inventory. Average days of supply at 67 days of supply. Smart dealers want to make units move unless they're at the next to no inventory end of the list. Use that list to see where you can shop and get a great deal. Prices have been going down, folks. Prices have been going down. The highest supply right now is for large trucks. Of course, gas goes up. Less people want large trucks. So should be able to get a good deal on a large truck right now. And crossovers and sedans had some of the lowest supply because some people that would have bought a truck to kind of be, what is a much cooler and better looking van. It's for many, the truck is 2023 as, the van, the Windstar and all those Ford Windstar and all those vans from the 90s. A lot of people are buying trucks today because they just want it to move around the family and they find it very practical. How often do we actually absolutely need a truck? Like 4 times a year?
I would say not that much, but when we want it, we're happy to have it when we need it.
Absolutely. So new prices going down, used prices going down. It's not a horrible time to buy. It's a good time to buy. It was better 2 months ago because, trades, for those who have trades, your trades were worth more. Trades are going to go down. They're going to continue to go down. So I'd say trade now while you have good rebates on your new vehicle or you're buying a new used vehicle. Well, the price just dropped on it. And, trade in your vehicle or sell it yourself before prices drop more on it. So if you're watching last live, not last week, but the week before, we did deal and fix the shaky camera issue. And hopefully you're enjoying the audio. Let us know, what do prices look like in your area? Are you seeing, price drops? I can tell you my dealership for the used vehicles, like all the ones that we bought a few months ago, at higher prices, we don't care the price we paid for them. We drop that price. You know, if we had it posted at a price from 4 months ago, we know the market's gone down. So there's a rebate on that. Now, vehicles we just bought, we don't need to adjust the price on because we just bought it at today's current correct market price. But prices on our trade-ins will go down. And remember, your trade-in is a vehicle that you should focus. Think of it as you're selling it, not just giving it away on a trade. So that's the end of that.
And just a question, because you were speaking about trucks that are more sitting there because of the price of the gas. People doesn't bought it that much. Arcubo says, do you think with the rebate and reduced rate, will a F-150 be close to Maverick price?
Never. An F-150 will... I'll let you answer that one.
Because you have the Ranger in the middle too, so they need to be balanced, I guess, the three models.
That's right. That's right.
But you could have great rebates, I guess, but not that much. That's
right. A Ranger is generally roughly 10,000 Canadian. So let's say about $7,000 less for an equally built F-150. And with a $5,500 rebate, though, your F-150 might be pretty close to the price that you're going to pay for a brand new Ranger. Now that Ranger has excitement. I want my new Ranger. Ford, get me my new Ranger before I buy something else. Wouldn't it be awful if I bought yet another Porsche 911 because Ford can't get me the vehicle fast enough? Wink, wink, Ford. I'm sure you're not watching. Actually, I think maybe you are. But yeah, I need to get that Ranger Raptor. Especially after my Lightning lost $10,000 in trade-in value from that price decrease. That really, really hurt. Now, we are getting our heated steering finally come December something. I've got an appointment. We're getting that heated steering wheel in our Lightning. F-150s in general that were not built with heated steering wheel will get that swapped in. You'll know because on your window sticker, it'll say minus, let's say $75 or $80 for not having steering wheel. That's a heated steering wheel. That's just a credit for not having it at delivery. That's why the credit isn't like $300 or $400. So if the rebate is generally under $100 for the truck not having something, generally you will have it at a later date. Little tip and trick for Ford for getting more stuff. So don't forget that. Our Cubo likes Porsche. Yeah, maybe I'll have some, maybe next week's live, I'll have some Porsche stuff going on. Let's get to an update at the end of the episode on what's going on with our newish vehicles. So let's talk first Corvette. Corvette prices are finally actually collapsing, and by a lot. And that's cool because there's some videos out there on YouTube with like 700,000 views from a year ago saying prices on the Corvette have, dropped and it was like the best time to buy. I didn't do that video because for me, it really wasn't the best time to buy. $5,000 off a vehicle that's marked up by $50,000 and is 2 years old is horrible. That's not newsworthy. Well, I could make news out of it. I could probably make money out of it. Because my timing would have been, hey, I'm the first person to kind of say, now's the time to go out and get a Corvette. So you lose out as a viewer, as a follower of our channel. You lose out horrifically because your guy told you go get your Corvette. And I don't consider a $5,000 price drop when it's $50,000 over. So now it's $45,000 of, 45,000 ways to get screwed. I don't make that video. Yeah, I like getting, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for making a video. And I have before based on timing, very rarely on one video. But I bring the news when it's the right time to bring the news, and I give my advice when it's the right time to give advice. So if you think me focusing on taking care of y'all instead of taking care of us, I have a main job for that. If you think that's the right way to do, to maintain this community, this friendship, please don't forget, encourage us, give us a thumbs up, hit that bell notification, subscribe, drop 3 or 4 comments into the comment box, and please share this content with other people. Even if they're people that, hate Corvettes, share it with them just to bug them. So now is actually an excellent time to buy a Corvette. Now, we were all really excited when this model first got revealed and came out. And that's the problem. When you've got a great model that comes out, a lot of people, the car community, we get excited, and there's a lot of competition for the few models that exist. So bad that in my area, I'm of the opinion, no proof, no data, but of the opinion that they're essentially selling new Corvettes to their buddies, their contacts, the people they have a little deal agreement with, where they would sell to avoid a lot of trouble from GM. I feel that they would sell the Corvette at MSRP, but with an agreement with the individual of, you're going to sell this back to us in 1, 2, or 3 years. Because all the Corvettes I saw were no new available, not even allowed to leave a deposit to get my name put in line. And they were all 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old Corvettes. And they were all, depending when I was looking, because I've looked at it for a while, and they were all $50,000 over. And I actually saw some at $80,000 over versus what I would build online for a new model. So it's like, and I'm talking about not over the new price, the increased 2022 and the increased 2023 Corvette price. I was looking at 2020s and 2021s that were 50 to 80,000 over the new increased prices. How does that make you feel?
I don't know.
Let us know in the comments how that makes you feel. I think you feel good that I didn't buy an overpriced car.
Yeah, that for sure. It was way overpriced. So.
Way overpriced. Cheers, prost to everyone. Please, I hope you're enjoying a beverage, whether alcoholic or not. Mine is a non-alcoholic beverage, but I wish you the best and, send my best to you with a prost or a cheers. So the Corvette, the proof is there. This thing is incredible. There's really great reason to get all excited about it. I'm a Ford guy or a Toyota guy, and I got really excited about it. And I wanted one, but I'm not going to spend 50 to 80,000 over MSRP for a 1, 2, or 3-year-old vehicle. So what was the consequence? I made the right choice. I didn't buy it for myself. I didn't hype up this overpriced vehicle. And I still question why I wasn't important enough, special enough, or enough of a customer to get one of those Corvettes at MSRP that I get in line for. Because the dealer told me, we sell all our new Corvettes at MSRP. Great. They told me that. I didn't ask for it. They told me. I'm like, great. How much do you want for a deposit? 500, 5,000, 10,000? They're like, no. We can't take your deposit. Why can't you take my deposit? I guess I feel that it's because I'm not buddy enough for them, that they knew that I would, if I sold it after 1 year, I'd sell it myself and I'd make that, extra money. And I think probably what they did with their customers was, we'll sell it to you at MSRP now. I think they're kind of the deals, probably something like, we'll sell it to you, but you have to sell it back to us. And don't expect to make a fortune selling it back to us. That's our job. We're taking the risk. Values could collapse, but we're willing to sell it to you if you're willing to sell it back. And it was a, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Everyone gets scratchy, but this guy right here. I'm not going to make videos to go and encourage you to go buy a Corvette until prices are good. And guess what? They're good now. Amelia Hartford right there. She's really cool in the Gran Turismo movie, but prices are good. And here's the proof. And these things are incredible. You look at this racing on a track and it can hold its own against high-end Ferraris and McLarens. And look at that thing go. It's a super car.
And the design is beautiful outside and in the interior.
I don't know how I feel about the side vents. They're, I could lose a shoe or a leg. I have small legs, so I could lose a leg in there, and I don't know what would happen. Does it get chopped up, dealt up? I don't know. But the sides are maybe a little too intimidating to me. But there's no denying it. This is one impressive tool on the track. And I know a few people who own them, and they'll say in real life, they're not the most comfortable vehicle to drive, but neither is a Ferrari. I've had people who've owned Ferraris and say, yeah, I've had one. That's it. I bought a new one. I'm selling it. I'm going to go back to, and then they switch back to something else because they want more comfort. And, that really only matters really if you're not tracking it, if you have, areas with bad roads, or if you're going to drive it daily or near daily or for long periods of time. You can't have a machine that can compete with Ferraris on a track and McLarens on a track, and then expect it to also be really comfortable. The more comfortable it is, the less good it's going to be on a track. So let's check out some of those prices here. We'll pause this because I'll finish watching that myself later on. So thank you, Speed Phenom, for that video. Really cool coverage of tracking your Corvette, and also from Chevrolet, Chevrolet's YouTube channel, and throwing Amelia Hartford into there. It's really cool seeing someone from the YouTube community being adopted into the brand and into their brand image, being an ambassador. So I love seeing that. Really like what Chevrolet is doing. So let's go check those prices out. So prices on those Corvettes. So won't be longer than a moment here. So I've got the slide here, and prices really have gone down, and I mean tremendously, because they're 50 to 80,000 over, and they're still a little over. They're still not the greatest deal. They haven't, you could say, completely collapsed. There you have it. You've got this, and there's not a lot of these, but you have an actual 2023 Chevrolet Corvette Coupe 1LT hypersonic gray, never accidented, obviously, for 98,900. And the mileage on this was basically it's essentially new. And you've got 2022s also for this price. So the 2022 is over MSRP, and you still have some that are well over MSRP, but you can actually find some that are basically on the price that they should be. So that's when I'm more inclined to say now is starting to be a good time to buy a Corvette if that interests you. So that's the end of this episode. Please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. What else can they do? Something with a little bell notification.
Yeah, hit the bell notification so you won't miss anything.
If it's already on, don't hit it, because then you'll turn it off.
Don't cancel it.
you sharing our videos and subscribing really does help feed and dress those poodles. And Marie, who's due in about 3 weeks, it helps feed and dress that baby. We really appreciate all your help. Love it. Let us know. Would you consider a Corvette? What do you think of the Corvette? Do you like that styling? I love the interior, which has not always been the case for the Corvettes. I love the interior. I sat in one in Florida. I love the front end. I love the lights, the mags. All the models of mags look great. My one little question point is this here. But then again, it competes with Ferrari, so why not have a wild, exotic look? Mm-hmm. I know you love it, right? From what I'm getting.
Yeah, it's a real beauty, that car.
When you saw it in Florida, you're like, ooh, wow. And actually, later on in Florida, from a distance, you're like, oh, look, there's a Ferrari. Take a picture. There's a Ferrari coming up. And I'm like, hun, that's a Corvette. But thank you for letting me know how much you love the Corvette. Alrighty then. So let's head back into our next episode. Let's talk about, and this is going to be a quick and easy one. So stick with us. We're getting to more juicier information. We've got Porsche prices. Alrighty, episode 4. Episode 5. Porsche prices are collapsing. There's a major price drop going down, and that's for new and used, because Porsche inventory, new and used, is going up. They're less rare, even on the 911 model. So stick with me. I know a lot of us are in love with the 911, but the Macan and the Taycan. The Taycan was actually really impressive. Mm-hmm. But you see this right here. You've got a Macan, and they've just dropped their price by, what is this, $5,000 on a $45,000 vehicle. So basically 10% price drop. So Porsche is basically following the general auto market, even for more rare models such as a 718 GTS. I can now get a 2023 718 GTS with 3,000 kilometers on it, and it's MSRP. Now that might sound like a horrible deal because it's used. I'm gonna have to spend go with that used interest rate of 8, 9, or 10%. That's actually, comparatively speaking, from 12 months ago, a steal of a deal where they would have been asking an extra $30,000 to $50,000 more, even for 718 GTS. For a 911, $80,000 more. I know someone who bought a Porsche 911, took it in for the first oil change, And he's like, hey, do you think I can sell my Porsche? And they're like, well, Porsche rules, you can't sell your Porsche. Otherwise, you'll be banned from getting other Porsche 911s. And he's like, however, what if I sell it to you, the dealer? And they're like, well, that's fine. That works. So he got an extra 50 grand. He got paid $50,000, mind you, minus his monthly payments, which would have been still costly, but he got paid one way or another to drive his Porsche 911 turbo, rare, more markup, but he got paid to drive it. And this was going on also for your base 911, your 911S, your Targa, your 911 GTS. So prices are coming down because you can now find also a 911. There was just recently a 2023 and it was tempting. It was MSRP with a little bit about 5,000 kilometers. We got called up for a 718 a 718 GTS. However, it was pink, but we were offered that vehicle from the dealer brand new at MSRP. So prices at Porsche are going down. Here's another fine example. Let's get a 911 into the portrait. Beautiful, pristine 911.
Which year?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a 2018, but they were asking $138,500. Wow. Now it's down to $115,000.
And we see it's in the dealership that they took the picture.
Yeah,
so
and yes, that is 6 years old, almost 7 years old. But that's the magic of a new 911. You buy a new 911 and this one hasn't depreciated. But I'm hoping I will be getting a 911. I have got one in order, a $5,000 deposit. They send me the occasional mail, which is nice. They took us on the Porsche Road Show, which was incredible. You can catch our videos for that. So much fun. So much fun. Taycan was actually a huge surprise. It sounded good. It looked good.
It was comfortable. Yeah.
Interior was really impressive. It was one of the most comfortable vehicles I've been in regards to seat comfort. Loved it. But what's impressive is you can look at Taycans now that are 2 years old and are just a little less than they are new. You can look at 911s that are 2 years old and they're just a little less than what they are new. And for the last few years, what's been going on is you had to pay 50 to 80 grand more than that original MSRP. And people just were not showing their MSRP. But trust me, I'm analytic. I love the data. I love doing build and prices. And I build them online just for the fun. I'd be like, this guy's asking this price for his Porsche. I'm not shopping this model, but let's build it online. And be like, an extra 50K. Whoo, that's pretty rough. So now it's starting to be a good time to get a Porsche 911. If values drop too much, though, we won't be getting our 911 because I don't want to drive it for a year and have it cost me $50,000 for a year of driving. I can handle paying $20,000 a year to drive it and keep it 2 years. I'd love to have a 911 for 2 years, but I'm not getting one if it's going to cost me, $50,000 of depreciation per year. I don't expect that, but I'll keep an eye on this story so we can all either shop or dream of owning relatively new or completely new Porsche 911. Now we have a 2000, but we'll get to channel updates in just a little bit. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Help feed and dress those poodles. Help feed and dress the baby who's going to be anywhere from 1 day to 4 weeks. Really coming along. And actually 4 weeks would be probably not the case. It shouldn't be more than 3 weeks. So you're doing a great job. I'm so impressed with you.
Almost at the finish line.
As I'd like to say you're already a mom because, you're working very hard to carry this little sweetheart in your belly along. So help us support you so we can help support us so we can help continue to support you with auto news and don't be fooled information and ways to save thousands of dollars. Now, let's slowly move into episode 6. So episode 6, we are talking about Chrysler and Dodge being in major trouble. That's proof that you're not kidnapped because you're going to willingly share this story. Yeah. So let's get to this story. I've got it set up.
Yeah, and I will take my notes. Yeah, so what's happening there with Dodge Stellantis, I would say. They offers buyouts to half of their salary, the U.S. staff. So that's a lot. It's the half. So that's a big news, I guess. if I resume it, they didn't say it that as a direct effect of the strike, because the strike costs more with all the agreement that they had with the employees in the plans. But we could read between the lines, if I could say that, that it's because of that in some parts that they will have to get rid of some people that work for them, because it's a big increase that they have to pay. So, but they have I guess it's a bad news, but there's a good news in that. They will offer people to leave with some a part of
buyout.
a salary.
Yeah, it's here. Take some money. It's your choice, but here's some money that we're offering you to leave. So yes, the UAW, the agreement has salaries going up by 25%. There's a cost behind that. And I'm worried that Stellantis, either they're in trouble or the CEO wants to get a big bonus and cut, make more profit, or continue to make the same or more profit, because half of white collar workers, so that's desk jobs, half of the people with desk jobs,
non-union staff. Yeah.
for North America, there's about a little over 12,000 employees, about 12,700 employees, and roughly half are going to be offered money to leave.
Yeah, it will be 6,400 people.
And it's not just people who've been there for a year. We're talking about people who've been there for 5 years plus. That's pretty off.
Yeah. And the other thing that could affect this decision was not only the strike, but maybe the fact that all companies are preparing the transition to electric vehicle, and we know that they doesn't do that much money now with that. So
however,
they have to
there's actually
something.
millions, actually billions of dollars lost if you're selling a lot of electric vehicles. So there is that factor, and it requires less workers to make these EVs. But I think white collar workers are very much needed for the EV future, because what differentiates your GM from your Ford when the battery probably comes from the same manufacturer? We'll have 2 to 5 battery manufacturers globally making batteries, maybe a few more. But electric vehicles, other than style, aren't going to have very many differences. And you need those white collar workers, the marketing team, the design team. You need these workers, these white collar workers, to help convince people to get your brand. And part of what convinces people to maybe not get your brand, but stay and buy a second and third vehicle at your brand, is good customer service. So if you're cutting white collar workers from the whole, customer experience, customer satisfaction, problem resolution departments, if you're cutting them out and, it's now very long to get, burnt out worker who's overworked because they've cut half of the workers on the phone, and you don't have a great experience. You might buy one Dodge and say, or Jeep or Chrysler, and say, you know what, that's the one and only Jeep, Dodge, or Chrysler I'm going to buy, because really Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler EVs are probably going to be very similar to all the other EVs, other than design and the experience that you have in interacting with that company. So I think white collar workers are going to be more important than ever. But yes, you are right.
And
EV is making less money. It's actually losing money.
Yeah. And another positive thing about that is that they try to be the most human that they can be in that horrible news. They will offer to their employees who want to volunteer to leave, people who wants to get retired soon, or people who want to pursue other interests. They will check with people first if somebody volunteers to leave. And the other great news is that for workers that were less than 10 years of service with them, they will have 3 months of pay. And more than 20 years with them, it will be a full year pay. So people who want to retire soon, maybe that's the time.
Yep.
But yeah, that's not a great news anyway, but they try to be the most human as possible, I guess. And yeah, we could say General Motors and Ford have also these kind of problems. They won't cut half people, but we know that it could come.
And Ford has already been cutting back. Even before the UAW strike, they were cutting back on white collar workers. In Canada, we lost a lot of white collar workers, and now calling customer service isn't the same as it was, at least from what I feel. You know, I don't have data where I can say, you know, it was X number of minutes on the phone before a proper resolution was built. But I can tell you, when Ford dropped the price by 10 grand and I called in to customer service, they're unbelievably polite and kind and understanding, but nothing happened. So I just have to suck it up. We'll see. I think customer service is going to be a lot, and design and marketing are going to be the three major factors whether companies are selling EVs. So I think way in the future, if Tesla still has, no service points and no sales points, I think Tesla, who's a major, huge winner right now, could become definitely more of a loser, but they'll probably very much stay ahead of the game. And, when it comes to new designs, staying way ahead of the game when it comes to new technology. So I know Tesla is going to survive, but I wonder, will Stellantis, is this a sign of Jeep, Chrysler, and Dodge being in major trouble, and that it's only going to go downhill from here, and that they have to make these cuts because they're in major financial trouble? Maybe, going towards 2008 levels. Right now, no, because they've had really good years the last few years. But it makes me ask the question, is this about bonuses because you're, cutting, is it just cutting fat and the service will still be as good? The marketing will still be as good. The design will still be as good. Or is this much more than just cutting fat? And this is going to lead to more and more issues. So we'll see. We're going to follow that story and we'll keep you informed. So what can people do to help us out?
Like and subscribe.
Yes, please help feed and dress those poodles and the soon-to-be-born baby on the way. Now, if you're watching live, you've heard that a few times, but we're going to cut this up into mini episodes for people that do not like hanging around for an hour and a half ish live. So thank you for sticking with us. We've got more information coming right down the pipeline, and here's a big one. Really, really big one. Not a big story, so hold through it because we are going to do a quick talk, interesting and fun talk about the Bronco versus the Jeep. Let's first talk about trust in Toyota versus trust in Ford. So before starting up the new episode, Marie, give me just a moment here. Okay, let me get this going here. Give credit where credit is due because I got this from an excellent channel. So we'll start it up.
Yeah.
Trust in Toyota is very high. It's the highest. And trust in Ford is the absolute lowest. This is a pretty big deal. But let's, put a little note on this title. This is according to, this is dealer trust in their brand. So right now you've got Toyota dealer trust at the highest, 72% trust level, you could say. So 70 overall, a 72% mark for dealers saying, anywhere from we really trust Toyota to we don't trust Toyota. It averages out to 72%. Lexus in second, third Subaru, fourth Honda, fifth Porsche. Now, least trusted brands based on percentage, Ford, 48%, I guess you could say, distrust. Nissan, 43%. Lincoln, 40%. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, 39%. And Infiniti at 37%. So that's trust that dealers have in their brand. What do you think? Please let us know in the comments section. What do you think could be the cause of this? Why would dealers at Toyota trust so much more, almost basically not quite twice as much, but they've got a huge amount of trust for the brand, and not so at, Ford, Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Lincoln, and Nissan? Drop a comment, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. What do you think could be causing this mistrust? How could they maybe fix this?
I don't know if the number of recall affected, because I know people doesn't love it that much, even if it's not always that bad. It's not always a big security recalls. Maybe it could have an effect.
I printed out last week this thick of recalls. And most of it was for absolute nonsense that no one
Small
cares.
stuff.
But Ford's like, hey, this is small, but we want the product to be as good as it possibly can. And sometimes they're forced, even though it's ridiculously small. Heck, there was way back when the most ridiculous one from about a year ago was the Lincoln chime for your, I think it was your door being slightly open. It wasn't quite long enough, the chime to warn you, and it was missing like a quarter of a second or a half second, and Ford was forced into a recall for this, and it's very minor.
Yeah, and the second thing I could see, it's that the brands here that is the most trusted brands are also the brands that doesn't have that much inventory. So maybe people say, correct me if I'm wrong, oh, they sell it a lot, so that's the good brand. We need to go there.
Yeah, that's right. I trust my I'm a Toyota dealer, and I really trust my brand because they let me rip people off and make tons of money. Who doesn't like making money? I love Toyota. I'm a dealer making millions.
Honestly, buy it. I need to go buy it.
No, but this isn't people's trust for the brand. This is dealer trust for the brand. The dealers love making money. We all love making money. But yeah, I think that's a great point. Toyota dealers could be very satisfied because they're making a lot of money. I'd also say that brand, dealer satisfaction, you could say, a dealer trust with a brand could also be lower when the pricing isn't consistent. So Toyota, the pricing, you're not just making money selling Toyotas as a dealer, your pricing is consistent. Now I can tell you, I love the fact that the Escape just dropped down to 2.99. It was at 7.99%. I love it because it's like, wow, these Escape plugins are going to be, these Escapes are going to be super hot items at this interest rate. This is incredible. But I can also tell you, there's part of me that's like, ooh, I just lost a bit of trust because now I've got customers coming back who bought 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago being like, hey, I saw this online. What is this? And they're mad. And as dealers, we have to deal with that. And then if, no manufacturer is going to sit back and go, oh, okay, we'll change all the contracts. We're going to lose a whole lot of money. Call back all your clients from the last 6 months. We'll give them all the better interest rate. No.
Same thing happens with your Lightning.
Same thing with the Lightning. I called Ford. I'm a dealer. I couldn't just magically make that $10,000 drop. I couldn't put that back in my pocket. I paid $10,000 more for the vehicle and it's gone. And that makes me lose a bit of trust because it's like, well, I've got unhappy customers. As an owner, it's like, now my trade value's got in. But that's only because I'm a weirdo who, trades every 6 months. I'm like, what percentage of the auto market? Like less than 1% of the auto market's trading every 6 months. So I'm not very important in this. The majority of how customers buy and whatnot, that's what's important. And why dealers would be less happy. I think there's also the whole EV move. Toyota doesn't have a whole bunch of EV models or a ton of popularity, demand, and so many questions on all those electric vehicles that don't exist at Toyota. Because when it comes down to it, manufacturers, brands that offer electric vehicles generally mean that the dealership makes so very little money selling these vehicles that are new technology, so they take longer to sell, they take so much longer to explain selling and explain at delivery and explain when people come back. You're paid next to nothing to sell these EVs and you're supposed to be happy about it. I think that has you lose a little bit of trust. Plus you have customers really upset when the price, if they wanted to trade and they're like, or they want that $10,000 price drop, but they bought 2 months ago and they're not getting it, you have to deal with an unhappy buyer that you don't have a solution for. So I think that's part of why there's trust issues. Nissan, guess what? Someone in our neighborhood has a major expensive issue with their electric EV Nissan. So I can understand dealers that are having to deal with, Leafs that have this issue and, it's not getting fixed by the manufacturer. They could very well fairly be losing trust in the brand because they're like, man, I'm dealing with, some very upset customers.
That's true.
And maybe over at Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, the customers are upset. Earlier you mentioned too many recalls. Maybe those customers are upset because not enough recalls. Because like, hey, my Wrangler transmission is causing, or Gladiator transmissions causing all sorts of problems. Is there a recall for this? And if the answer they get is no, deal with it, not behaving very well. And if ever it breaks under warranty, you'll be covered. But if it breaks 2,000 or 1,000 kilometers over warranty, haha, that's your problem. Dealers want happy people. No one wants to deal with an angry bear in front of them. Who wakes up in the morning and says, I want to go fight a bear? Well, no one wakes up in the morning either and says, I want to go argue or, have no positive solutions for an unhappy individual. Heck, sometimes maybe fighting the bear is better than dealing with a little physical damage is sometimes better than a bit of mental damage. So that's what's going on. You've got less trust going on. We'll follow this story more so. Ford's going to be the number one winner this year for having the most recalls, but sometimes having a lot of recalls also means having a product that works, continues to work. So just keep that in mind.
The company cares to have clients that are happy with the product.
They're willing to spend their money to make sure that the product works to its fullest. That's a really good point.
Because it costs a lot for them. They need to change the piece. They need to advise you by mail, so it costs something to advise everybody in the region.
And then there's
mail.
the part, the time. That's all very expensive.
So it's not just for fun. If they do it, they want to show that they care.
Now, this is a fun one. We love this. Too bad in the live, we've gone a little long, so we've lost a few people. But here's a great one. Bronco versus Jeep comparison. Folks, we've owned Jeep. We've done a lot of test driving in Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Gladiator, 2-door, 4-door. We're on our third Bronco that we've owned. I've owned Jeep myself, mind you, a Jeep Cherokee, but I did some I roughed it up on the farm quite a bit.
I'm not surprised.
And I've driven quite a bit Jeeps, and I've an incredible amount of driving when it comes to the Ford Bronco. Twice we've driven from Canada all the way down to Florida the last time and back, but the last time we drove all around Florida. In the end, we did, like 8,000 kilometers of driving in a 2-week period.
It was a lot.
We know this vehicle. And we want you to continue to follow us and support us. So hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, please. Hit the bell notification because we're going to be coming to you with more Bronco information. But to give you, our live show scoop of all of this, you're going to share what you love about the Bronco. I'm going to share what I love about the Bronco, what I prefer on the Jeep, because there are things that I do prefer on the Jeep. And we'll just do a little bit of a back and forth, but I'll start. I absolutely love, and I think the Jeep kills it in 2 areas. The roof, you can have a hard top, it's painted, and electrically the middle can slide back. And the Jeep really kills it in that area.
Yeah, that's a thing that is missing in the Bronco.
That is missing in the Bronco.
That's a good point.
And I love the fact that there is not a 4-cylinder, but that the 4-cylinder can be a plug-in, dramatically increasing the torque of the engine to a very high, impressive, and enjoyable level. But I really don't like the Jeep standard. Well, not that I really don't like. I find it's subpar, the Jeep's 4-cylinder turbo. It's a little subpar, and the 6-cylinder is very much subpar. It has no turbo. Ford's 6-cylinder is way better. 2 turbos. Ford's 4-cylinder is, the 2.3 liter is reliable. You've got a reliable 10-speed transmission there. The Jeep, everyone scores major points to the Jeep when it comes to off-roading because they're only really thinking about rock crawling. But when you take a Jeep at high speeds over the whoops, that thing's all over the place. It's not a good place to be. And the Bronco at high speeds over the whoops, well, we've really sped through some fields, sped through farmer fields, even caught air. You don't want to talk about, driving quickly. We were driving fast enough that we caught air, got airborne, landed, and everything was done really comfortably. The airbags did not go off. So I'd say, very contrary to all the YouTube videos, overall, yes, the Jeep's better at rock crawling, but the Bronco is still extremely good at rock crawling because it handles the whoops, the high speed off-roading so much better. And it's a much better get you to work vehicle over little rough asphalt roads with either little or very deep Quebecois bumps. The Bronco suspension is far, far, far superior than the Jeep's. Now I've talked a lot, so I'm going to let you talk so no one thinks you're kidnapped here.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you have good points there. I would say I was always loving the look of the Jeep before.
Yeah.
But
great colors, amazing colors at Jeep. So many cool colors. Love it.
Yeah, it looks cool, fresh, young.
More colors than at Ford, more exciting colors.
Yeah, and sometimes you have cute stickers like the stars on the doors, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was excited when Ford decided to bring back the Ford Bronco, because I'm nostalgic of the 2008 Ford Escape that I had, because it was more taller, more higher and square than the Escape now, that it's more lower to the ground, rounder. So I was not nostalgic of that kind of shape of a car. And with the Bronco, we have all of that. It's big, it's square.
So better styling than the Jeep.
Yeah, and you took a picture. We talked about that maybe 1 month ago. You showed picture of your Bronco just beside a Jeep, and we see the difference. It's very, very big. I remember the first time I saw it in person when you bring it at home. I was so impressed of the size of the Bronco. So yeah.
Parked beside an F-150, it looks larger and beefier and tougher than an F-150. And no, those are big trucks, folks. Those are really big trucks.
Yeah.
Still some exciting colors, but Ford, we had that school bus yellow that they called cyber orange, but it was really school bus yellow. But Ford doesn't keep super fun colors around for too long. We've got eruption
green.
Got to be careful there. Get the letters right. Eruption green. And the Jeep, though, does definitely do a better job when it comes to colors.
And for the roof, like you said, and I always loved the job that they did with the handles. The door handles on the Jeep are so nice with the bottom. With the Bronco, we have a standard handles like any other car. But yeah, my favorite of these two is the Bronco, definitely. I love the comfort inside. When we hit the bumpy road, we're good. In the Jeep, sometimes it's more difficult, or you have trouble with your back, and you doesn't love that much to drive in the Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it can wander on the road. When you're going over those bumps quickly, it can do a little bit of wandering, which isn't great.
And do you know which one is more how can I say that? I always have the expression in French, but do you know, between Jeep and the Bronco, which will cost more in fuel? Is it Jeep that is more
that's where the Jeep has a huge advantage, a really nice advantage. The Jeep plug-in, the 4-cylinder plug-in is incredible. And Ford needs to get their game on and bring us. I've been tempted. I can tell you, I've been very tempted.
I know.
I haven't cheated, but I've been tempted.
I spoke about that
the
model.
392 V8, if I want to use a stupid amount of gas, but only drive the vehicle once a week, the 392 has tempted me for insane, incredible sound, amazing power, more power than the 2.7 liter, more power than the 3 liter Raptor engine. So, and you've also got the other end of the spectrum. You've got a very torquey 4-cylinder plug-in. I don't like two of the engines that Jeep offers, but I really like the idea of the plug-in, and also at the other extreme, the 392 V8. And I'm hoping generally competition makes everyone better. Remember, you can only get a Jeep in the past on like 33s, then 35s. And I believe now even if there's a 37-inch tire package with the 392 as an option on a 392. So yeah, you'll end up spending a ton of money to get from factory 37s. But Ford came out of the bat with the Bronco. They're like, you want 35s, you get 35s. You want 33s, you get 33s. 33s are the small ones, basically. They're the mid-range. So Ford really kicked it up because the Wrangler was still getting sold. And Jeep kicked it up quite a bit with the new model here, with the 2024. I do expect Bronco to, how do they say it? Leave no prisoners, take no prisoners. They're not gonna take any prisoners. They're gonna mean business. I can tell you that there are definite plans to have a plug-in Bronco. There's even long-term plans to have an electric Bronco. Plans can change, so don't quote me on this. I can just tell you that I can say that there are definitely, it's in the works. The idea of having an EV Bronco is in the works. And I actually kind of like the go-between, because with a plug-in Bronco, we could get all the way down to Florida, no issues. But, for the day-to-day, we'd plug it in and it would be an electric vehicle most of the time for us, but still be able to take us down to Florida without major annoyances, as is the case with the Lightning.
Yeah, well, we cannot do that with the Lightning. It will be too much longer to charge each time. No, it will be not that fun. Yeah, the future, like many people said in the chat in the past few lives, the future is really with the hybrid.
Wrangler brought a bigger screen because of the Ford Bronco, and then very oddly, the Ford Bronco suddenly got rid of the 8-inch screen, and for 2024, everyone gets a 12-inch screen. So I love the competition that's going down. I do not expect Ford to be offering us a V8 ever in the Bronco, but a plug-in, hopefully on the 6-cylinder, that'd be insane, because then it would just completely destroy the plug-in from Jeep, because you destroy it in acceleration, you destroy it in torque, horsepower. It would just blow away. It'd be a no holds bar death match, and the Bronco would just completely squash the Jeep. But I'm thinking, it could also be the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder, which is a great engine, and as a plug-in, it'll go from being a good engine to being a great engine. Mm-hmm. Either way, I prefer the 2.3 liter turbo from Ford than their 6-cylinder, their standard engine. So there'll be more on that. We're going to be talking a lot more, having edited videos from our Bronco off-rodeo footage, where we off-roaded harder than most, because we're in a group of only 3 vehicles, and with being 3 vehicles, we ard to do the hardest course that was available in New Hampshire.
That was fun. Yeah, we had time.
And
to
our
do
guide said it was
course.
the guide said it was one of the. He either said the hardest or one of the hardest obstacles he's ever dealt with, and he said a good number of the days we can't even get up to the top. And they're like, today I'm hoping, it was all about how dusty, muddy, dry, but not too dry. It was all about, the rocks got to be just perfect, because if there was rain and then it really dried up too much, well then you won't get any grip, because there'll be like a little layer of sand all over the rock. So
yeah, we were very lucky that day with the weather.
Please, in the comments, let us know. Don't just say Bronco sucks or Wrangler or Gladiator sucks.
Tell us why.
Tell us why. Tell us
want to know
which one you prefer and why you prefer it. So discourse makes everything, everything's better with an actual discourse and exchange and open-mindedness. The want and ability to look at various facts and figures to then come to a conclusion and be willing. That's called an opinion. You've used your data to make an opinion, but then when someone brings you data that maybe breaks away from your opinion, destroys your opinion, you should be always willing to change your opinion if new information or unknown information to you comes along. Now, unfortunately, here's a rant. Johnny's rant right here. Some people, no matter what information you give them, no matter how easily accessible the information is, some people love staying stupid. So let's get to this. I have to get this off my chest. I'm not turning this. I could talk about this for 3-4 hours, and I will not, this is going to be 2 to 3 minutes, but a few examples. So right here, here's one great example, and I don't get this. Universities are going to lose millions because some of your students are proving that they're stupid and that they wish to stay stupid. They wish to do no research. Yes, thank you, Winston. That does help me feel better. I do need a hug and a kiss. But some people, some students are really proving that they don't want to listen to open debate, that they'd rather just call people racist if something goes against their set opinion, which has been based on, yes, some data, but they don't want to look at more data or even try to look at, not even all the data. They don't even want to look at some data. So a few examples of that are the trans community dancing and singing and chanting, go Hamas, Palestine from sea to sea, meaning no more Israel and no more Israelis. That's wild. That's wild because in Palestine, which is, it's not a country, but if they were in Palestine, the community, the LGBTQ community would be destroyed. You're supporting something that would destroy you. And you've got students, you've got these students, young students, half dressed. And it's like, you want to, you're about, women having the ability to safely be in public and have their hair show. Well, they can't. So they're supporting something that in no way supports them, and not only in no way supports them, would harm them or do worse than harm. So sometimes a little joke, you got to laugh through some of this. Here you got exchange each hostage for 100 pro-Hamas U.S. students. So universities, you've got a lot of money being pulled out of universities because you've got students, a lot of students, chanting things like Free Palestine from sea to sea, which is a hateful comment. I don't want to see, ideally, anyone harmed. I do wish for peace. What that road for peace is, I don't know, but it is awful when citizens are harmed. And unfortunately, Hamas is deliberately hiding under citizens. Israel is asking citizens to leave those areas. And Hamas is forcing people to stay in those areas because they want people to be harmed so that they can say, hey, look how awful and evil Israel is. They're harming just children and women and citizens. And it is awful that those things are happening. But it's probably one of the first times in history where people, back in I have my degree in history, there weren't these sieges where an army would roll up to a city-state and say, you know what, we're going to surround you. Come out and fight, or we're going to starve you. But first, let all the women and children out. Please, please, please send the women and children. We'll make sure that they're safe. We're not going to harm them. No, it's this is, I've never, they said there's going to be, this destruction will happen. Please leave the area. So it's wild what's going on. I feel awful for what's going on. And that's why, this is a bit of a rant. I feel that what's going on is awful. No matter nonsense, no matter what side of no matter where you are, my heart goes out to both Israelis and Palestinian citizens, and it's awful.
The real victim.
Yeah, they're the real victims in all this, and citizens being stuck in both ends of this. Now, of course, this is a car show, so I'll end that here, but maybe you have absolutely no interest in this, but I can just say that I'm praying for the least amount, I just wish and I pray that, citizens don't continue to be harmed for what's going on by these powers, the weak citizens with no power, losing everything, and losing life, losing everything because of what's going on. And then on our end of the world, you've got people who would not be treated well at all by the group that they're publicly supporting. So I don't understand. Even here in Quebec, I drove by a house and it was sort of this Free Palestine from sea to sea stuff going on. And it's like, yeah, I try to think what I say before I publicly do it. And of course, these are live, so it's a little harder. But before you build a whole like structure in front of your house, really think, well, what does it mean? What does it mean? So awful things going on. Let's, if it's your thing, please pray that people stop being harmed. All right, that's my rant, and actually turned into a bit of a sad moment. So sorry for all that. This is a car channel. So let's get to the last little piece, the last new piece of news. So this is the best new vehicle you can buy, car or SUV, and it's wild because this is a huge surprise. It's a Lincoln. It's not all the Lincoln models, but it's the new Lincoln, brand new Lincoln Nautilus 2024. My dealership has some on the way, which is awesome. They're available. This thing is wild. I can't believe they're not all pre-reserved. This thing's incredible. This is the
Yeah,
jet.
you fell in love with it.
I think so. This is the jet black package, and you've got actually a package where the wheel, not just the wheels change, but the whole lower bumper, like everything below the lights, actually also changes. The shape and the look of the bumper actually changes. So it's a really cool package. It's an expensive package. We'll see if we get it, and if you let me get this. You've got the line down the door. It's amazing. You've got these front lights going in this one direction, and this vehicle fits so well together from front to end, because you go and you look at the end and the lights are pretty much identical to the front lights, but in the opposite direction. So one diagonal, one up, one down, diagonal. Incredible vehicle. And this thing isn't the best SUV or car you can buy right now because of styling. It definitely helps because the styling is really hot, folks. You've got LED lighting all through the front. This is again the jet package, jet black package. So you've got an incredible grille. You've got LED lighting across, but that LED lighting is like that on all the models. You've got, the front bumper is more aggressive on the jet package. Jets are aggressive. They do aggressive things. You've got full LED lights. You can really see it. They're really nice LED lights. So you can see, there's the different points through here. You've got the full line. How do you feel about this front end styling?
I really love it. I know that they modernize it as well to compete with the other brands. So they did it well, I guess.
Black roof on the jet black package. 22-inch wheels. I'll show you some,
The wheels are so beautiful.
The interior is bigger than the current Edge and Nautilus. So you'll love that. Tons of family space. But let's get to the interior. Now this is the hybrid. So no exhaust showing in the back, but you kind of have what would look normally like an exhaust port. So still going for a good aggressive style, and it should be, because your jet black package, you've got two powertrains. Go back to the jet black package. You're going to get that on a 2-liter turbo. So we're all used to that. It's roughly 250 horsepower, roughly 280 pound-feet of torque. So does the job really well. But the hybrid is going to have something like 310 horsepower and somewhere between 300 to 350 pound-feet of torque. Lincoln has not revealed it yet, but that is a very nice amount of performance. You can see you've got special little touches. They really paid attention to details here. You've got the tinted window. They're all tinted from factory, but then it goes into the sort of the degraded, it gets into more like as you go towards the plastic piece, this is sort of like a mix between it's tint, but it kind of looks like it's the beginning of a plastic piece. Then you go to the full black plastic piece. The lines are, I think, beautiful. Mind you, you have way better style than me. Look at me. I'm just a normal bum wearing a just normal California t-shirt.
Think they did the special touches. I love that.
Hybrid has 21-inch wheels. Come on, folks. This is a hybrid with style and power. You got that long, you got, I'll get to the next slide to show you. You got those black LED lights looking incredible. You got cup holders for the back seat, and the styling on the seat.
The seats are so looking good.
So looking good. You can
looks comfortable too.
If you want just the armrest, you take away the little the look of the cup holders and the practicality of the cup holders. If you just want an armrest, you get an attractive looking armrest there. You get this real metal. The speakers are covered with this real metal. Don't rub your finger too fast across these. You'll cheese grate your finger.
But
Revel sound system.
I'm so happy because on the door, normally what I didn't like, it looks old before because they had wood. And now it's a metal piece. It looks modern.
So modern.
Yeah, that's perfect. They remove all the wood line that they put before. It was looking too old. Only old people wanted to buy it.
Comment. Who noticed a handle in the photos we've shown thus far? And drop a comment. Please hit thumbs up, subscribe, help feed and dress those poodles, as well as the baby do in anywhere from a day to 3 weeks. We're super excited. We look forward to this new life and this new adventure. Still having a blast with the adventure on this channel. Thank you so much to community members. Thank you especially for those that make it through all of our lives and often from beginning to end. I applaud you guys. You're really helping the channel out. But these handles, who actually noticed? Be honest here. Who noticed that there is a handle? I didn't see a handle.
It is
blended in so well. And yes, I am an uncle type. I do love wearing sweaters. Yeah. So
the only thing I see your watch is closed from the paint. So I know you will say, "Oh, be careful with your nails, with your."
That's true of any door handle. And yes, plastic can scratch. That's a good point. You've got this, this is pretty standard, a nice touch screen. That's not what's is incredible about this interior. So let me prove to you that this is the best new vehicle you can buy. The 2-liter turbo has already proven with its transmission to be very reliable, extremely low cost of ownership. This isn't like owning most luxury vehicles. This is like owning a Ford Edge. The hybrid is the 2-liter turbo with an electric component and no plug-in. So it's just your standard hybrid. You don't have to plug it in. You don't have to, think too hard. You don't have to do any extra effort. And now you've got an interior, which honestly, the $200,000 Taycan at the Porsche Roadshow, this interior is in line with it. And this is going to start at 64,900 Canadian dollars. So basically half to a third of the price.
I think the interior of the Nautilus is unbeatable.
Us uncles and grandfathers and fathers, look at this. Come on, you've got your weather on the far passenger corner. You can have your weather report going down right there and very visible and easy to see as a driver. I was not wearing my glasses. I do have glasses. Not wearing them now. Wasn't wearing them there. Then I can see this so well. You've got your Spotify, music there. You've got your interior. Now, this is cool. Look at these red lines right here. Look at that. You can choose. The color. You can choose. There's like yellow, orange, pink, purple. Like they had all sorts, blue, red, orange. They had all sorts of colors, all the colors. You can change them, but no matter what color you pick, if the door isn't latched properly, it's red, letting you know, hey, we've got an issue here. Let's fix this issue. Now, I know, I'm sporting this whatever you call this, I forget the name off the top of my head. I'm not wearing a tie and a collar at the moment, but I think whether you sport your plaidish material or your tie and collar, everyone's going to be happy with this vehicle. And at a starting price of 65 Canadian, if I compare this to an Edge ST line, which will is going away, well, I definitely wouldn't even hesitate for a second. I would not take an Edge ST line. I'd get either the 2-liter all-wheel drive turbo engine or the 2-liter turbo engine with hybrid for that extra power. You have a lot
for the difference of price.
Yeah. Real metal buttons. You see you got your park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low mode right here. All metal. Love the little feeling on it. All metal dials. Looks like a little diamond knob there. Diamond cut glass. Yeah. And it doesn't end there. The seats look great. You got the live fireplace mode. You can actually play. You could play video games in the car. You could watch YouTube or Netflix in the vehicle. So very cool. Tons of space in the back. Incredible. And, it doesn't scream, I'm a Lincoln. Look at this. I didn't notice this until I got down and low on the vehicle. Now, at night, you'll see it a little bit more. But, it's not screaming, I'm a Lincoln. This is not your grandfather's vehicle. This, I think, I'd like to think if I was 25, I would still be like, wow, I hope one day I can buy this vehicle used for, what's in my budget. I'm clearly not 25 anymore. I'm not even 35, but I'm not an old man. And whether you're a young guy, a medium-aged guy, or an older guy, I think this is great for the guys and gals and everybody, all the communities. This is a great vehicle, folks. Love the grille here.
I would love to
Sharp.
spend a lot of time in the interior of that car.
Maybe you will.
Oh, but it's so attractive. You want to stay there and just relax.
It is very relaxing. Now, there's the Corsair. I had to go all the way to Toronto to take care of this. And go all the way to Toronto, but took a flight. Both times sat with only feet of the propeller. So if anything went wrong, I was bad news bears for me, but I think it was well worth it. Safe flight, incredible flight. Thank you, Air Canada. Love the Air Canada treatment. Loved the Air Canada lounge. Wow. So great time. Love it out there. Please consider buying a Nautilus, or at least go test drive one. And let me know in the comments. Do you think that I'm right, that this is one of the best, if not the best brand new SUV, and it's so good that even if someone wants a big car, that this would be probably their best option? Let me know in the comments section. Marie, what do you think?
With the major change, I really love that model. I would want one.
And I've never talked about buying a Nautilus before, ever.
Yeah, and you told me the other day it's only $12,000 Canadian difference with the Edge ST line, like you said. So for that price, for sure it's a big amount if you look like that. But for what you can have, all the new stuff in the interior, they modernize it. They have a lot of electronics. I guess it's worth the price. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for being here with the live. Please drop a comment. What do you think of the new Nautilus? And let us know if you like Ford Maverick material in the comment section. Now we're going to start one of the last episodes of the evening. Thank you for sticking with us. This one's going to be a quick one, folks. So Ford Maverick, size comparison, and some really awesome accessories. Some of the best accessories you can buy. Let's have an accessory Ford Maverick talk right here and talk about size. Now this truck is getting a lot of slack for being made in Mexico and being small. I can tell you this thing, of all the Fords I'm getting, and even compared with Lincolns, I'm not having any paint defaults, any paint errors from factory. The paint on this, there's not overspray, there's not underspray. This thing was painted better than our Ford Bronco, folks. The Ford Mavericks have been coming in with excellent quality. The gapping between the parts means it's perfect. This is assembled very, very well. Applaud the factory making this out in Mexico. Just because it's made in Mexico doesn't mean it's crap. That's, backwards thinking, if I can say that. This is a great truck. Layered lighting, just like that new Lincoln Nautilus we just looked at. But here are some really cool accessories. Look at this. You got the bushwhacker, or the added, instead of going with, mud guards, mud flaps, which I think are a must-have on most vehicles. Mind you, the Ford Maverick is all plastic on the bottom, so you don't really quite need mud guards unless you're really worried about people following too close and eating a rock and ending up in an altercation. But these bushwhackers, I think, look amazing. I think it's ideal when you either have a spacer for the wheel, or which could be dangerous. I had a spacer cause me problems with an older Mustang. I could have lost the wheel, lost my life. But I think a little wider tire would look even better with this, but those are BF Goodrich KO2 tires on, which I love as a year-round tire. I love the bushwhacker, and look at that Yakima rack. Very cool. You can throw up a canoe, a kayak, very practical. So some really cool accessories.
Did a great look on the Maverick.
Yeah, even if it's a hybrid, it's got this crazy off-road look. We actually filled in our lettering, and you can we'll try to maybe put in this episode, put our Amazon affiliate link, which, by the way, we do get. If you go out and buy if you click on our Amazon affiliate for car parts, but end up buying Christmas presents, we will get, you won't pay any extra, but Amazon will give us a cut, and it will help us out with our Christmas and all our automobile and dog and kid plans. So we'll have to throw those in there. Help us out. It is a paid. We're mentioning this because it is something that will help us out payment wise. So we'll put that on the mini episode. But I think I'm surprised. These look great. On some trucks, they look less good because of the spacing, but the Maverick did a great job. They actually put like a little rubber or plastic line here to really make sure there's no gap. It looks really good, and also to help not so that there's no, plastic on metal vibration, so it scratches your paint or eats through your paint. So you've got kind of like a little added seal that I'm not used to seeing, and it also helps blend it in with the metal so very well. I'm very impressed by these, and that I'll have to get back to you. I believe your Ford store will help you get these. If we can add a link to them, we'll add a link to them, obviously. The rack looked really good on the vehicle and very practical. And the bolts on this, actually, they don't look cheesy or cheap. The whole system looks good. Now, of course, I do recommend you get that or mud guards, mud flaps, the little flaps that, so you don't kick up rocks, especially if you're going to have more aggressive tires like these BF Goodrich tires. They do kick up more rocks. So protect your paint, protect other people's windshields. Maybe you don't care about other people's windshields. You should. But you should also care about not, maybe who knows who's behind that windshield and what type of temperament they have. So avoid altercations. The best defense, the best fighting skill is to avoid a fight altogether. That's not wimp talking. That's, Navy SEAL. And Navy SEALs will tell you that. The best altercation is to avoid altercation. Unless forced, unless necessary. So here's another little zoom in on that seal. Look how clean that is. Is it just me? Am I just overselling this? Do you find this a nice clean? I think you
really love that.
Look at how clean that is. You got the plastic here and you got a little added seal. I'm not used to seeing this high quality here for these kits. I like the style. Maybe you're so-so on it.
Looks so small.
Look at it. And this is why people go, oh, Maverick, that's not a man's truck. That's kind of a silly thing to think and say anyways.
At the same time, it's not F-150 on the sides.
Let's put our egos aside, folks. Let's put our egos aside. If a 4.5-foot box works for you, and by the way, you can put the tailgate at a 45-degree angle. It can support, it's either 300 or 400 pounds. You can carry 4x8 sheets of wood. Exactly how many, I can't tell you. It depends on the type of wood and the weight of the wood. But you can go up to 300 or 400 pounds when you've got that tailgate at an angle. 4x8s fit in this truck. Kayaks, canoes fit on this truck. You can go camping. You can go off-roading, especially if you get the Tremor or the FX4 package. You can tow 4,000 pounds if you get the 4K package. This truck is amazing, folks. So put your ego aside. This has nothing to do with pant size. Just because your neighbor might have an F-150 that's bigger than your Maverick, or they might have a 250 Giant, it doesn't. Let's put our egos aside and think with our wallets. And my wallet's telling me that this is the best buy on the market. This should be truck of the year, not the F-150 Lightning. I'm sorry, Ford, but the F-150 Motor Trend, you got it wrong. The F-150 Lightning is not the 2023 truck of the year. Motor Trend, you're rarely wrong, but you're wrong. This is the truck of the year because it is the people's champ, because it doesn't empty the bank account.
And it's easy to park.
And even if you're a millionaire or you make $300,000 a year, or $500,000 a year, this is a smart choice. Mm-hmm. Really smart choice.
Yeah, totally.
But yes, it's small if you park beside a Giant. But if you go back not that many years, you go back 20 years, this was more standard truck size. An F-150 from 20 years ago was only a little bit bigger than this.
Yeah, and all the people we know that they had a Maverick, they really loved it. So customers are happy with their choice. It's a good model.
It's a really good model, and its depreciation is next to none. Or maybe you'll own it a year and make your truck will probably be worth more than the amount you owe. So I think it's a fantastic option. Look at that, great rack, so practical, great colors. Check it out, folks. At least consider it. Do a test drive. Hybrid is a great option if you can live with front-wheel drive only. 4K towing offered only on the all-wheel drive. It's a great unit, and I'd say that so far it's looking pretty certain that will have an all-wheel drive hybrid model for 2025. Huge, exciting news. This thing's going to sell, so order one up. If you order an EcoBoost now at the right dealership, you might get your EcoBoost in 4 months. My last Mavericks have been coming in. If they're EcoBoost, most of them, the majority of them, were ordered only 4 or 5 months ago. Hybrid though, hybrid is more like a year, 13, 14 months. But hybrid wait times are going to start coming down. Why? Because for certain periods of time, Ford will start, will build like 70% of what comes out of the factory will be hybrid. Now, overall on the year, it's not quite 70% of hybrids that will get built, but you're going to start seeing, I think, come spring or summer, you're going to be able to get an EcoBoost off the lot. And some lots will sell them definitely at MSRP. And if you definitely want to pay MSRP, order one up. Get a signed purchase or lease offer. Get the dealer to sign it. Don't just sign it. Get them to sign the build sheet. Get them to sign the purchase or lease offer. That way you can lock in your interest rate and lock in the price. So that's my tip to save you thousands. Now, I help people save thousands. That's what I love doing. I love helping. Help us out, please. What can people do to really help us out?
Like and subscribe. Sorry.
Hit that bell notification. Make sure you turn it on. Share this video with people to really help us out. We've been, we make a lot of videos to help people out, and we'd love your help too. Marie, you loved your Maverick.
Yeah, I loved it so much, and I'm nostalgic when I see this one. He's looking like mine. And speaking about Maverick, Mark Davison has a great question. He's about to receive his 2023 Maverick.
Cool, right on.
He wants to know, because he wants to put an undercoat as soon as possible to protect it. Is it okay to remove the underguard below to allow better spray for the undercoat?
Absolutely. Any plastic protection, if you have an FX4 and you have skid plates underneath, those can definitely be removed to have a bit of protection everywhere. Then the skid plates, have them covered as well. Great question, and I do recommend getting undercoating on a Maverick. That'd be great. And I even recommend waxing your paint or a ceramic detailer. I prefer ceramic detailer twice a year, because even vehicles in, let's say, Arizona, of course, vehicles near the ocean rust. Vehicles up north rust because of salt. Near ocean vehicles rust because of salt in the air. But even in Arizona, not near any oceans, no salt on the roads, obviously. Well, the sun can cook your paint, crack the clear coat, eventually remove the clear coat, and then eat through the paint, the UV rays, and you can end up with rust spots just the same. So ceramic detailer, do it yourself, save thousands of dollars. That's my advice, and that's the show for tonight. You can see Lily started making a lot of noise. She needs a little attention here. Help feed and dress those poodles with a subscribe. Good tonight. They're good. Please drop a comment. Do you like Maverick content? Do you like this type of Ford Maverick content? We need your feedback, folks. Please let us know in the comment section. And whether you made it to the end of this episode or to the end of this live, because you're built tough. Yeah. Please drop it in the comments. Finisher. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Mike Davison, that's so nice. R. Cubo, thank you so much.
They were there
from the beginning. From the beginning. You guys are, wow, you guys have incredible attention capability. Yeah. Even we haven't seen, Buddy Guy hasn't been here for like the last, he hasn't been here from day one, but he was here at the beginning as well. And 4 High 4 Low's been with the channel forever.
The WB2 was here from the beginning.
Thank you so much, guys. Wow. Love the support. I really appreciate the community here. You guys have been better to us than we deserve, but we really appreciate you. Thank you so much, folks.
Yeah, we wish you a great night.
We wish you absolutely a great life, great night, a great life, health and wealth. And of course, we are, I'm very much praying for people, citizens, normal citizens, to be safe. So praying for a better outcome in the world. Wish blessings upon everyone. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Wish you all more cars and more power.